what's going on out there? I'm back at it again for another episode this week with Volume 7, EP number 7, Episode 7. What's going on? It's the Franchize guy. Welcome to the Franchize. As I get back at it and dive into some more takes I got after this past weekend and week so far in sports. Shit's been pretty good, man. A lot of good games out there. I was able to circle back and catch some more highlights from last week in the NFL, and also some highlights and some games from the NBA. So, I got a few cool topics to get into right quick for this one. So let's get this shit in motion. Let's get going. First, I want to start off with what I peeped from a couple games that niggas probably not paying attention to unless they're like actual diehard loyal to the soil fans. A couple of games I was able to catch some highlights from and circle back on. One of them games was the Saints-Falcons games where I caught the full highlights now. This game looked like it was fun to watch, and it was also a little chippy out there. I seen both teams was going at it, but we all know this already. In this game between these two teams, that's how it always is. So it's chippy, interesting, could get wild no matter the records or the vibe of the game, injuries, key players playing or not. It don't matter. It's going to be a wild game, something interesting, a crazy finish or a crazy comeback, or it's going to be physical or chippy or, some kind of shit going on. But the Saints, looking at this one, look like they got out to a nice little lead first, with Derek Carr slinging two of them things to MVS, who popped out of nowhere with them two tutties. Like, I'm over here low-key like, yo, like, when the fuck did MVS sign with the Saints? Like, what the fuck? That shit caught me off guard. But, he had some highlights that popped up on there. I know he got cut by the Bills, but after that, it was like, well, shit, who he play for? You know what I mean? So, it was crazy to see that. But now, Marquise Valdez-Scantling, he kind of always been a big play threat, and he had a handful of catches that, cut up the defense out there today, out there in the highlight that I was able to catch, and he got the two tutty snags right there, so, good shit by him, you know what I mean? He came out of nowhere, so, that was cool to see. Also, the Saints defense, was still doing what they usually do, smacking niggas up and making good tackles and getting turnovers. The thing about this defense here that I've been pointing out this season is they play with real instinct and energy from what I was, still able to peep, like I said, through this season and the most recent seasons, the past couple seasons. So they're still playing with that energy and that identity to make plays and fly around the ball, and their corners and their DBs, they hit. Also, their linebackers, they like to, they got Demario Davis, who, is a mainstay in the middle of that defense. Now you got Willie Gay, who's a Super Bowl champion. He knows what it takes to win, playing that linebacker there. And, they making tackles and smacking niggas up. They making plays, flying all over the place. So, that was cool to see with the Saints against a Falcons team who, coming into this game, looked like, yeah, they're going to be rolling into the playoffs and everything. Although it's a Falcons team that you can't just trust that easy to be like, yeah, they're going to roll into the playoffs easily. They still got a lot going on in that division where it's competitive. But, the Falcons, they still looked a little good too. Bijan Robinson and Ty Algiers, they still had a nice little day against this defense, giving them that groundwork. Bijan had a touchdown. Algiers had a big run, and I think he had a big running catch, if I remember correctly from what I saw. But also, Drake London and Kyle Pitts, they made some crazy catches today too. They were also moving the chains. London, his route running is more on point. Big body, also can make all the catches. Is physical. So he's making plays to move the chains. I mean, same with Pitts. He's a big body and everything. One of the things that I pointed out before the season started that I didn't know about Pitts is the separation. I didn't see any elite separation and everything like that in his first couple seasons coming out, but he's looking pretty strong, pretty solid this year. So I seen them make some plays to move the chains and also make some big catches, some crazy catches in the highlight. So it's good to see that. You like to see that from young guys like that playing with an actual QB now after the positions that they were drafted, and the first couple years how shit came out the gate for them. Now they got an efficient quarterback, an actual quarterback with Kirk Cousins, who I wouldn't say he's elite. I ain't gonna say all that shit about the nigga, but he's an actual quarterback. He can distribute the ball, can run an offense and everything. And when you got an offense that's built with other pieces around where he don't got to do too much, you got two. You got one really good running back in Bashan. You got the backup Algiers, who's pretty good. You got the tight end. You got the receivers. You got Mooney. You got McLeod. It's good to have those pieces around a quarterback like him. So you get some wins and compete to get into the playoffs. They look like in this game though they got shit going kind of slowly, but their defense still kept them in the game and kept them hanging around in this one, which is what you need in the L. You know what I'm saying? You need that in the NFL. You need a defense that, even if your offense isn't really coming out strong, coming out hot to start the game, if the other team is coming out hot and they up probably by like 10 points or something, your defense still needs to be able to keep you in the game, make those scrappy and tough plays and shit to keep you in the game, so that maybe in the second half, second quarter, third quarter, whatever, your offense starts hitting their stride and still make it a game, which, from what I was able to see, it looked like that's what happened here. I'm pretty sure that, most niggas outside of Atlanta fans, couldn't even really name the niggas on Atlanta's defense that could make plays outside of the free safety signings, like Bates and Simmons at safety. So, Atlanta actually has a sneaky defense also that's pretty scrappy, pretty feisty and everything. They make some plays here and there. The defense was looking real competitive also on the back end. They made some plays out there today too. They had, some good stops. I believe they did have a turnover, but, obviously clearly not enough for the win because, not enough for a win in the end because shit was crazy. The shit that I seen also, I want to point out in this game and how it ended, towards how it ended and everything, and how Atlanta's defense was playing. They still made plays, but they still were kind of slipping up from what I was able to see. Shit was crazy how towards the end of the game, to really seal it or put the nail in the coffin, it was like nobody that was covering the Saints' best player, Alvin Kamara. Like, you always gotta know what the fuck that dude is on the field. You gotta know that. That nigga is basically like 75% of their whole offense, like the last 3 years. So the last 3 years and running. So nigga was wide ass open. And it was crazy to me. I like Alvin Kamara's game. I like how he could slip out of the backfield, make catches. He got a smooth style to his running game. He not, always trying to break one big, but he ends up breaking them big because he's got good footwork. He knows how to jump cut in the hole. He's patient, and he's got good acceleration. And he also can make niggas miss. He make niggas miss, and he can break tackles. He may seem like he's a smaller back, but he's really not. He's really like kind of mid-level size back, but he's got good lateral movement. He's got good footwork, and like I said, he's got good patience and good vision. You know what I mean? But this shit was crazy as hell to me because him, especially as a receiver, which how he started off early in his career, being big in the receiving game. I think he was like at one point the leading receiver or the second leading receiver for the Saints at one point, young in his career. You know what I mean? So it was crazy how wild it was. He was wide open, beat his man on his route. It looked like a wheel route, running back wheel route, which he's really good at. Of course, he perfected that. You know what I mean? Being the kind of offensive weapon and back that he is for so many years in this league. This man was wide open and he dropped the shit. In the full quarter, he dropped the shit wide open. I'm like, yo, this shit is fucking crazy. So after that, the Falcons still had a chance, to go down, score a touchdown, or go down, score a field goal, because, this defense is tough and everything. But after that, the Falcons still couldn't capitalize on that after getting the ball back, and, I mean, it don't really help that, young hoes be cool couldn't hit his field goals early in the game, to at least make it look like an OT game at the end or a 3-point win at the end. You know what I mean? Like, you got to hit them field goals, and especially the way he was ringing off with the field goals in the first game they played. And from what I could hear in the highlights and everything, the announcer kept bringing that shit up. But I believe this nigga missed like 2 field goals in this game and shit. And that definitely don't help. You know what I'm saying? So, if Young Ho cool, he gotta get his shit back right. So it could be that hero that Atlanta loves, so they could slide their way into the playoffs and make shit interesting. But shit, man, fuck it. Tough shit. Good game for the fans and the viewers and a good win for the Saints. So, that's how that shit went down. The other game that I peeped, that niggas probably ain't pay no mind to, and I was able to look into the highlights, was the Bills-Colts game. I'm just pointing this shit out because of what I noticed most from both teams in this game. Yo, both of them defenses is feisty and scrappy as shit. Like, scrappy and opportunistic, getting pick sixes, and D linemen getting picks, and DBs getting undercut in toes. I mean, you don't see that too much. I feel like you don't see that too much in the league no more. The slot corners or the slot safeties or the cornerbacks, they ain't trying to undercut and pick the ball no more because, they don't want to give up a tackle, so they just go for the tackle. They get some bullshit-ass pass interference going for the tackle first, so they head down, they head not around, they just let niggas go to the sideline, all type of dumb shit like that. Like, I like to see shit like that. Niggas undercutting for an interception. Kenny Moore did that. Niggas is stripping the ball, tip balls, getting batted in the air for an interception, turning the end toes, and niggas, dropping in the sky zones from the nickel position and shit. So it was interesting and it was fun to see in this highlight from both teams on both ends. The defenses were doing that. So that's really what I had my eye on that popped out the most. Looking at this highlight, like on some real shit, both defenses was still getting rained on, and the ball moved on them in the passing game too. But them defenses was still finding ways to make their plays, man, and go for that ball. That's really what it's about. You got to flip the field. You got to make turnovers. You got to capitalize off your turnovers. You got to get good field position to score. Score touchdowns, really, or score a field goal. Any points you could get off a turnover, but you gotta be able to have a defense that could take the ball away, not just, oh shit, let's try and get them 3 and out. Or, oh shit, let's hope they don't get this 4th and 2 now. Let's just hold them and shit. That's not gonna always hold up all the time because the way that some offenses are built, they got a really good offensive line, similar to Buffalo's. They could just lean on you and lean on you and lean on you, and then them 3rd and 6s that turn into 4th and 2s start turning to 4th downs real easy because your defense is tired with the O-line leaning on them and just driving them back and pushing them around all the time, while they're still on the field and can't get off the field to get their offense on the field. So you got to be able to take the ball away, and you got to be able to make them kind of plays. But I noticed that from both of these defenses, they were still able to find ways to make plays and go for that ball. You got to do that. But that's what mainly popped out to me, like I said, which, was fun as hell to check back, at these highlights. But other than that, Joe Flacco didn't really look too great. I guess you could say he wasn't complete garbage. I guess I think he threw like 2 picks or 3 picks in the game or some shit. But he got the ball around to the young receivers out there. I seen A.D. Mitchell getting involved. You know what I mean? He was making some plays. He was getting involved a little bit. Alec Pierce, of course, Josh Downs. I think that's what the reason was, that he was missing some throws and throwing interceptions. He kept trying to get it to Josh Downs, which I guess he's really comfortable with that target. I think he had one to Alec Pierce. It was either Alec Pierce or A.D. Mitchell. I don't know which one. He tried to get it to them. It was just a little too high, maybe, or the receiver just you receiver, that ball get in your hands, you gotta catch that. If you extend it, don't be afraid to take no fucking hit. There was no one around him, but don't be afraid to take the hit. That ball get in your hands. If you gotta extend and get out there, you gotta catch that shit. Went off his hands, tipped, went right into Taylor Rapp's hands. So that was one of the interceptions I do remember from the highlight. But yeah, Joe Flacco was still getting the ball around out there to the young guys, try to spread it around, but he was throwing picks. He's throwing picks all over the place. Taylor, he gonna do what he do and run it up on niggas. But it just goes back to Joe. He did have some, like I said, them bad picks out there. Like he trying to earn back his old name. Back in the day with the Ravens, Joe Flacco. Where he'll have a couple good games or have a really big game one week, which he's been doing for the past couple teams he's been bouncing around with. Have like 2 really good games, or he'll come in relief in the middle of one game and go crazy, win the game, be a hero, and those touchdowns, those some crazy shit. Come back the next game, do alright or do good or get the win, and after that, nigga just flops. It's like, yo, who the fuck is this guy? And I remember that when he was with the Ravens. And he just has that senior DNA as the quarterback that he is. So, it's still showing, as a backup journeyman here, you know what I'm saying? But it's all right. Nobody's expecting at this point in his career Joe Flacco, you know what I mean, be their future, take him all the way over the hump. But he does what he has to do when he has to do it. He just didn't do that shit in this game. But like I said, that goes also to credit to the Bills defense, which made some plays. They made plays at all 3 levels of the field. D-line had a pick. D-line had some sacks. Linebackers had some great tackles, some pass breakups in the mid-level from some safeties and linebackers. And the safeties, Taylor Rapp had a pick. Tyler Johnson, he had a pick 6. He's basically a pseudo safety / nickel cornerback. And they didn't let Joe Flacco get anything deep on him, which Joe loves the deep ball. You know what I mean? So it was good to see the Bills D made all those plays at all those levels. Josh Allen, was efficient and flexing his shit and shaking niggas off him with his game. Like how he doing. Cook was running hard, and all the other players that fantasy owners probably know and love, like Shakir and Mac Hollins and Dawson Knox and Kincaid and shit. They did their thing like they were supposed to in the roles that they had in the situations they had in the game. Like they were supposed to do to push them to a win and take care of business as they should. A team like the Colts versus the Bills. Definitely a team that, the better team roster-wise, coach-wise, scheme-wise, which is the Bills, should be taking care of business against a team like the Colts, who they might fuck around and bullshit around and squeak in there as a wild card team and shit, but they're not really built, structured, schemed, or coached, I believe, to, say it's a guarantee they're going to get in there. But like I was saying the other day, the AFC bottom half teams that could get that 7th seed or that last seed and shit, it's looking ugly record-wise, but it's basically between like 3 teams, maybe 2, that can get in there. And the Colts, for some reason right now, with their record and how they play, they're winning. You know what I mean? But the Bills, they're supposed to be taking care of business against teams like that. We're not, you can't be bullshitting, playing with your food, with a team like that. And one of the other things that I peeped from this game that made me, I had to point it was, how Josh Allen was flexing and popping his shit. You know what I mean? But he had to, because what I did see also was the D lineman for the Colts, Odenabo or Yenabo, some shit like that, Odenabo, I believe. It was a QB sneak. And the D lineman, this nigga was dead trying to punch Allen for like what it seemed like 2 to 5 straight minutes in his face in like football time, you know what I mean? Like, or like how how many punches he threw. Like he was just throwing straight punches to his face, his body, head, everywhere. And yeah, nigga, I get it. Like, you trying to punch the ball out, trying to punch the ball loose for a fumble, because he's gonna get that first down on the QB sneak, because it was short yardage. It looked like the Bills kind of lined up in like a similar to like a tush push formation type thing, or just short yardage, goal line shit. Y'all know football. You know how this shit go. You know what I mean? But it looked like he kept doing that. He kept punching him and shit. And it's like, yo, we know you're trying to get the ball up, but now you doing all of this extra shit right now. Like, and this extra shit, like, I'm like, yo, you wild for that. You wild for that. And after the play was over, I think he was still going and doing some extra shit. Some plays that like to like get in your face or like, poke you in your eye, push your buttons and shit physically in some kind of way and shit like that. Like, it's like, yo, come on, yo, the play over. Like, chill, what the fuck? It was low-key funny to see, because I think later on this drive, Allen stiff-armed, Adenabo, for positive yardage to push to the red zone, and started flexing a bit, and then popping his shit later when he scored on a touchdown. He scored on the safety, Nick Cross. You know what I mean? And he was kind of flexing a little bit, because y'all know, Josh Allen like to talk a little greasy at times. You know what I mean? So he like to flex his shit, pop his shit, whether it's humble or he want to talk greasy. Like, I think I remember one point, which I felt was funny. It was a dope comeback. I think it was early in this season. It was like David Long on the Dolphins, maybe, or someone on the Titans or some shit. And the motherfucker looked back, like, to look at his last name, like, who the fuck are you, nigga? You know what I'm saying? Like, I kind of like the way that Josh Allen likes to pop his shit or flex a little bit. Sometimes it's subtle, it's a little subtle like that, and then sometimes you see him really talking his shit, like, yo, get the fuck out of here. Like, when they be playing the Jets, you be hearing that shit low-key in the mic, like, yo, yeah, now y'all niggas get the fuck out of here and go home. You know what I mean? But yeah, that was good to see, especially after a nigga gonna be punching you in the face for mad long and shit, or punch you in your body to get the ball. The ball's not coming loose. I got the first already. I'm already down. You still trying to act all extra doors. Nah, fuck out of here. Like, and I stiff arm you after, and then I score too on your safety. Try to get extra too a little bit. Like, nah, I'm gonna flex a little bit, which leads me into another game I was able to tap into with the highlights, where another QB looking like he want to start flexing and popping his shit low-key out of nowhere. This nigga Brad Pitt on some shit. I mean, Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert is on some shit right now. Like, nigga might be on his Tyler Durden Fight Club shit in his own head low-key or some shit, because I'm seeing the highlights like, yo, who is this guy? Like, yo, I know that Justin Herbert could run and everything. Like, I knew he was mobile, that big arm. I knew that already. But, yo, this nigga running on niggas, hitting them with the little finesse juke, making niggas miss, fucking, you know what I mean? Low-key breaking their ankles, like, oh, shit. Had niggas getting sturdy, him and there for the first. Low-key trying to run some niggas over and shit for the first down. Then, after getting up, looking like he talking his shit, and giving the first down signals and shit with a little swag and shit and popping it, like standing on his business out there. Like, that shit was, I'm like, yo, hold on. I definitely am not watching no Chargers games like that. Haven't seen one for a while. I haven't tapped into no Chargers highlights, probably since week 3 for a little while. The way they play is a little bit different than before when they was slinging the ball all over and letting niggas score on them and shit. But I know I haven't seen I haven't tapped in with niggas highlights and what they up to recently and everything. I just know that they winning kind of gritty and ugly with their coach. But I'm like, yo, this nigga out here popping his shit and flexing and swagging. Like, he's standing on his business out here. I'm like, yo, who is this guy? Because you know how it go with most QBs, especially the white QBs and shit. Niggas run for the first down. It'd be like a little 4-yard they ran for some shit, or 8 yards if everyone's playing man. They know the defense know they don't got to spy this nigga, so everyone's back is turned. 8-yard first down to either celebrate on with a little fist throw, like, yeah, man, let's go, and then just run back to the huddle. They get head slaps from the old lineman and shit and all that. Or they just give the head nod, get the ball to the ref, and then just go back to the huddle all humble, like ain't shit happen, like they ain't do nothing big or crazy or important. You know what I mean? Unless they're like Baker Mayfield or some shit like that. Like, nah, that nigga be going off. He like, nah, fuck that, nigga. I got the first on you, and I don't even run that fast. This, that, whatever. You know what I mean? But yeah, Justin Herbert, from what I seen, from his first few years, as I was saying a little bit earlier, like, his first few years in the L, it didn't seem like he would ever come out of his body like this. Like, and I like his game too. Like, he's silent, nice. You know what I mean? Big arm. He don't really gotta do too much. He could run niggas over. Now, I mean, he could always run past niggas. He has some acceleration. But now he got the juke game to his shit. You know what I mean? I thought even at Oregon he was a good quarterback. I'm like, yeah, he's worthy of being the top pick and shit. The Dolphins fucked up. Dolphins and the Giants fucked up. I mean, if I remember correctly, if the Giants had a chance to get him in that draft. But yeah, good athlete and shit. Could run. Now he got the juke game there, but he seemed like, silent kid, humble. You know what I mean? Don't want too much spotlight on him and shit. Now you see him popping out on these Get Money commercials about the bank and shit with the new stadium, all of that. And, in this highlight here, now he flexing. He flexing like he's standing on business, like his shit, popping his shit and flexing his shit. And I like that. You know what I mean? You're going to need that confidence in that type of division because it's crazy out there too. You know what I mean? The AFC West. That Wild West of the AFC, you're going to need that playing against the Chiefs defense and battling against Mahomes. You're going to need that because Mahomes going to let you do that, and their defense is going to come to play too. Spag going to get his young bulls ready out there and shit. And same thing with the Broncos now. Sean Payton be popping his shit too, and he going to make sure that whatever coach he got with him going to make sure the defense is on point and rocking. And he definitely going to make sure his offense is in motion, even if they can't put up 30 points. He's like, yo, we still going to make this shit a little hard on you. We might just get one long touchdown to Sutton, try and get a couple more with drop passes from Bo Nix to Franklin because they went to college together, but Franklin be dropping them shits and shit now in the L. Some niggas can't live up to the moment just yet. But yeah, you got the Broncos and the Chiefs. You're going to have to flex a little bit. Like, you're going to have that big confidence like that in your head. So I like that. I like to see that. But yeah, the Chargers took care of business easily against the Titans, as they should, running the ball and playing defense, which looks like exactly what they'll be doing, straight into the post. You know what I mean? They're going to be running the ball, playing good defense. Justin Herbert don't got to throw the ball too much, but he'll throw efficiently, get it to the playmakers and everything like that, and he'll run himself. And they'll be able to quietly, silently, humbly, but standing on their business, slide into the postseason like that, right into the playoffs, doing their thing. So, you know, shit, it's good to see that Jim Harbaugh got these niggas, feeling like they them niggas. Like, you guys, young bulls feeling like, yeah, nah, we some ballers too. It's alright. Shh, be quiet though. You don't worry about us, don't worry about it. We ballers too. So a lot of guys out there in the highlights making some plays, flexing like I said, with that confidence and shit on offense and defense. Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins coming off of multiple devastating injuries. He's feeling good. Quentin Johnson, who niggas was already saying he was a bust. Dropping passes, not running good routes and shit like that. And it was looking shaky for him. I'm not ready to say he's a star, nothing yet, but I've been seeing him in some highlights pop out with some big touchdowns, making some big run after the catches. He's looking more confident than he did when I was looking at games and highlights last year, when he first came out. And it's like, you can't call him a bust quite yet. Like, give him, you know what I mean? Because they coached Staley. Who the fuck was that? He was the bust. But, yeah, he's looking confident and shit coming out crazy. You got the young boy Davis, who made some plays on special teams, made some plays on offense. And he already came out with jetpack. That's his style of play, special teams player, fast, gadget guy. But he coming out a lot more different. Not a lot more, but a little more, because I feel like he always had that confidence how he played last year, because he got speed and shit, but just a little bit more oomph to him. Seeing in the highlight, yeah, nigga, I know, nigga, you see my team? We got this shit. So, and then the defense, I seen two below two get a little sack or a half a sack or two, getting crazy, pointing forward, all of them, the defense out there playing together and shit. So yeah, and they got the young boy Hart, who made a good play on the defense at corner also. So, it's good to see that Jim Harbaugh got them niggas, in motion on both sides of the ball. Feeling great about themselves as a football team. They're like, we could compete and we could fucking win. And we could beat your ass too while we do it. So, you know what I mean? That's good to see. Okay. Now, speaking on flexing and popping your shit, let's take a bit of a sharp turn to start off what I've been able to kind of catch up on with what's going on in the NBA. So we're going to take a slight little sharp turn here to the NBA and insert quick seg called A Lick Back in the Making. Alright, so let's dive into this one real quick here with the NBA. So previously, from the last episode that I was able to record, I was talking about the dunk, the dunk with Jalen Green on Kate Cunningham, whatever, it's just probably a regular everyday, any other time, like regular everyday, like posterized dunk. It was like crazy to see, like, oh shit, that's what's up. It's a good highlight and everything like that. But as I was saying, it was, I was seeing a little bit on, online, like, oh shit, it's probably a lick back in the making and shit here, because niggas just talking about some, niggas knew each other when they was young at one of these AAU camps, this basketball camps, all this shit. So, after a little while of doom scrolling research, like how we all do, when we get out of work or get some free time, right, or whatever, I was able to catch some of these funny tweets with some backstory, a little mini backstory, nothing crazy like that, on what I said I wanted to look into more with, with this Jalen Green dunk on Kay Cunningham. So after not too long of my little doom scrolling session, I saw this clip, the full clip of when they was at basketball camp. Like I was saying, Jalen Green was on the sideline, and Kay Cunningham tried to sun this nigga, after making a little play or a dunk or some shit on the court, and slapping Jalen Green on the chin. And it's like, so Jalen Green's not on the court. He's on the side, like, with his backpack on, a hoodie and shit. He's like standing next to, looks like Tyrese Maxey, like a young Tyrese Maxey and shit. They just chilling, watching niggas play, and shit. And it looked like Cade Cunningham was like maybe a few years older at the time here, a couple years maybe, at the time in this clip, from what I was able to gauge. But yeah, he make his little play in the court and then come on from the sideline and shit and try to sun this nigga and smack him in the chin. Now listen, me, I'm way past, playing ball. I'm way past some days of playing ball and getting the little shit with niggas on the court, with basketball and all this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not even into. I avoid going to like a little rec center and shit and going to play because you don't know how. You know what I mean? And it's funny because you'll still see little videos circulating online and shit, a real life shit. Niggas, grown men or niggas just going to play ball at the rec center at the park, and niggas just getting into it over basketball. Like, I'm not into none of that shit. However, if I insert myself in this environment, in this situation, as a young boy coming up, as a young Jalen Green, coming up probably in junior high school, whatever, and a nigga do this to me, to my face, smack me, try to sun me, all this shit. I'm not even playing, my nigga. Like, if we was on the court, you want to talk shit, go back and forth, cool. I bet. Ultimate sign of disrespect. Nigga, fuck that. It's either on site right there on the court with the hands, or I gotta get my lick back. In some type of way, I gotta get my lick back. Mind you, let me also preface by saying this. I'm not one of these niggas that has a default button and operates from a mindset that, I need to get my lick back right away, or I need to get my lick back. I don't really operate like that. I'm not even gonna hold you. I'm not gonna front. Because I'm one of these type of people where I'm a firm believer of poetic justice. Like I'm a firm believer of poetic justice coming back to hit anybody at that perfect time, in that perfect moment. You know what I mean? Like, all right, we let the universe deal with this. We'll let it play our house with a word. That's what you're gonna do right now? Bet. Gotcha. I'm not, like I said, my default button is like, I'm gonna get my lip back and I'm gonna get it tomorrow. Or I'm gonna get it in the next couple hours. Or I'm gonna get it next week. I'm gonna be like, all right, bet. I remember that shit. But it's all right. Poetic justice. We're gonna let that shit simmer. So, with that said, the way that this shit happened was just perfect for me. Like, after all them years, yeah, we both in the league now. That's what's up. We both getting money, doing our thing, for our teams and shit. We both on some trash teams. Now we coming up. We young boys, supposed to be next year. That's what's up. But yeah, nigga, I had this moment waiting for you. Just baking, simmering, just, on the time. Like, it's all good. It's all right. We gonna see you again. That's what this moment was like to me. It's like, it's all good. That's all right. I'm gonna see you down the line. That type shit. You know what I mean? So it was perfect for me. Like, that is how it worked. The poetic justice right there. Perfect moment, perfect timing. And, I know I'm just making something out of it, not to gas it and everything. I mean, it was still off a steal and on a fast break and everything like that. I know I'm putting the extras on there and trying to gas it a little bit or whatever, but I like shit like this. I like when it has a little, backstory to it, because, like I said before, you seen how, Jalen Green was mad amped. I was like, yeah, nigga, you see this shit? You know what I mean? Cade Cunningham didn't even say nothing, just stone cold face, like, all right. It's like, yeah, nigga, I've been thinking. And that's the thing, too, about professional athletes. Like, I think all professional, a high percentage of professional athletes in every sport, they have a high school coach or a friend turned rival, or, coaches through college, or scout, or a girlfriend, or this, that, whatever. There's always somebody throughout what they're trying to do, what they want to do with their life, which is whatever sport it is, being an athlete and trying to make it all the way professional. There's always somebody there that played the fuck out of them or try to play them and shit while they was on their way up or while they was doing their thing or try to sun them or try and shit on them. And as an athlete, you remember that shit because that's the fuel that keeps most of the people that operate like that going. It keeps them going all the way to when they get to the league or get to where they get whatever, championship or a NCAA tournament championship. Because not everyone makes it to the league, but still, or coaches too. Some coaches that played in NCAA or played 1 year in the league, whatever league it was, whatever sport, and they couldn't do it all the way as professional. And as a coach, they're like, yeah, nigga, this been simmering for me for 15, 25 years. I beat this nigga. Yeah, nigga. Like, I beat him in the chip, or I beat him bad, or I beat him by 30, or I dunked on, shit like that. So, it's just fun to see shit like that. So, you know what I mean? Look, and I think that, like I was kind of alluding to a little bit, going off on a little bit of a tangent, like with professional athletes, like, they remember that shit, man. So then when they get to the moment where they have the opportunity and the moment is there to show off to that scout, to that friend, to that ex-girlfriend, to that coach, to that parent, to that family member, to that rival player, they gonna be amped and they gonna be like, hell yeah, nigga, I had this one waiting on you, bro. I had this shit waiting on you. You know what I mean? But fuck it. You know what I mean? That shit just made it even more fun to watch the highlight again. Watch that shit again with a small little competitive backstory. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure it's not extra, but to me, in my mind, I like to see shit like that. You know what I mean? Especially if it's fun. And at least it ain't go to, the point of like throwing no hands and nothing like that. Because I think in the video back then, Jalen Green was like, nigga, I will beat your ass. Like, the fuck, nigga? But it was cool to see that on the court, justice with authority, on the court, justice there. So I like that shit. Now let's get into let's get into a big marquee matchup, which kind of was another scenario similar to this, where niggas was popping they shit a little low key or high key at the end. We're going to get into that with the NBA, and that's the Dallas Mavericks and the Golden State Warriors in Golden State. So you already know what that means. You know what I mean? You already know. The whole homecoming for Klay is going to be great. You know what I mean? Great city, great fans. You know what I mean? Show mad love. Captain had Splash Brother. Yeah. It was beautiful. But fuck it. Let's get to the game, my nigga. Let's get into it. Let's get right into the game, my nigga. This nigga Steph came out on Klay, straight guarding him up. Even caught a light early foul. Like, hold up for a minute. When you looking at it, it's like, yo, this shit kind of crazy. Like, it's kind of wild. Like, it's weird that the Splash Brothers gotta go against each other like this, but fuck it. I like how both sides came out with it being this little bullshit cup series or whatever, but nah, that ain't mean shit for real. That's not what it means. Everybody on the court, everybody in that arena knew what this game really mean. They knew what the fuck this shit was. You know what I mean? Klay on the Mavs now with Luka and Kyrie. Last year, nigga was flopping, missing shots and shit, ending games with donut, no jelly and shit. Like, and he was a little in his feels too about G State not wanting to pay him for another contract. Steph talking like, come on, bro, just come back. I'm going to let them know you better come back crazy next year. We just won a championship not too long ago against the Celtics, who just won their shit. Niggas talking about they going to repeat. Niggas already forgot about it, whatever. Like, nah, we got to come back and do this shit again, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, Splash Brothers, like, and word is from a report last season, if I remember correctly. You know, Klay was talking to Steph like, nah, fuck that. I don't want you to go ask on my behalf and go talk to them. They got to come to me directly and be like, yo, they want me or they need me back. And I mean, I respect that. I respect it, though. You know, Klay wanted to stand on his business. You know, he did. He put in that work for them 4 champs, despite last year being a super down bad year for his game. But, you know, he put in his work. 4 championships. The last one, probably the hardest one. You know what I'm saying? They went through some battles with Sacramento in the first round. They had to battle. I believe they had to battle the Lakers and shit, or battle Denver. And that shit. And that was probably the hardest year for him right there to compete for the championship, because he's still coming back off all these injuries, the ACLs, the setbacks in the rehab, the Achilles, all of this shit. You know what I'm saying? And he put in that work. That 4th championship is the illest, toughest, hardest one for Klay with the Warriors and shit. You know what I mean? So he put in his work. So I respect it. Like, nah, don't say shit like, you my bro and all this, that, you my nigga. But fuck that. Don't speak on my behalf. Don't be running to them like, yo, can you let Klay come in? Nah, fuck that. Them niggas need to come to me. Because I'm a man here, too, that helped build this shit and put up numbers. And I'm going to stand on my business. So I respect it. But business is business on both sides. And they both got to it on the court on both sides. Klay hit a couple shots, started, you know, he hit a couple shots early and everything, started Steph shimmying and shit. I'm like, oh, shit. Here we go. This nigga hit the Steph shimmy already, hitting his threes and shit now, talking his shit. I'm like, oh, shit, here we go. This is crazy, because I'm like, I love the Splash Brothers together. Like, I love that shit. Like, that shit was that shit brought back watching fun basketball again for me. After watching the fucking Spurs and the Heat do whatever the fuck they do and shit. You know what I mean? But, you know, he was talking his shit. I love to see the competitive energy in the air and them vibes. Like, yeah, nigga, y'all ain't doing shit for real without me. I ain't doing shit for real. And I'm a shimmy in your face. Yeah, nigga, I was part of the shimmy game, nigga. Probably on some shit like, yeah, I was the nigga that I started doing that shit, you know, when we was at a little party, when we was young boys before we started winning, when Mark Jackson was coaching us. Now this nigga gonna take dumb shit like that, right? They was like, yeah, y'all ain't gonna win for real without me. I'm with Kyrie and Luka now, and they just came from the finals. What's up? But then I see, also in parts of the game, even Draymond getting in the mix with it. And finally, after a long time, because I feel like a lot of games that I saw last year, when you look at highlights, finally, for the long time in a while, this nigga trigger hand popping it a bit. Hit a couple threes and shit. Oh, now you want to shoot the 3, Draymond? That's what I'm talking about. And I'm pretty sure at least one of them was in Klay's face, if not both of them. If I'm mistaken or whatever, was in Klay's face. But after he hit both of them shots, Draymond looked like he was talking a little greasy to Klay. So I'm like, yo, like, this shit's kind of crazy, throwing me off. But I was feeling the energy, like, yeah, nigga, you gonna choose the other side? I bet, nigga. Like, watch this. You remember I could hit them threes too, and I'm gonna D you up, because he did. I think he blocked Klay's shot one time, or it was a shot Klay was taking. He still got it off, but it was like Draymond got a piece where his shit hit the crazy side of the backboard and everything like that. Like, yeah, and I'm still going to D you up, nigga. We know your game and shit, but I'm going to hit threes too. You know what I'm saying? Like, where are you going to choose them niggas? You going to choose the other side? I bet, nigga. But, you know, it's just a competitive spirit of the game on the court, because, you know, off the court, business is business. That's a whole other thing. And the whole game, I mean, both teams was going back and forth and going at it, going crazy. It was tight to the end. So that was fun to see. That was good to see. Luka and Kyrie, they gonna do their thing, and others got involved on the team as well on both teams. Gafford and Lively and Hartford and them, but and same for the Warriors. I mean, shit, Buddy Hield looking like he really in the mix with this shit, doing his numbers with the Warriors now. It was another dude I kind of didn't recognize. Something Davis. I got Jackson Davis. He got 2 last names. I'm gonna have to look in to see what the fuck what's that nigga about, because he put up some buckets. Wiggins had 8 points, but he made it, and from the highlights that I was able to catch also, he made a couple nice little plays and shit. Pods had a nice little step back 3 and shit, so people was getting involved. Kuminga had 16 off the bench. He made some plays and shit. So everybody got involved on both sides. They was going back and forth to the end, which is dope to see. That shit is exciting. But that nigga Steph said, "Hold the fuck up. Hold up, nigga. Hold the fuck up. All right, y'all got a nice little lead right there in the 4th. That's what's up. But watch me squash all that shit right now." Nigga Steph went off in the 4th. Lane game, and ones, mismatch, step back, Jimmy 3 on a big man and shit, and went crazy for 37 and a dub. Like, yeah, okay, cool. My bro Klay finally want to start hitting shots and shooting again, and he want to be 50% from 3 in this game. Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up. You want to do that now? Oh, word? That's what's up. But fuck all that. I don't need you, my nigga. You know who numero uno, nigga. You know who's numero uno, nigga. You know. And then at the end of it, all, giving that night-night to seal the win, the babyface assassin, mad calm, laid back, moderate hype. Moderate. He get hype and shit, but it's like moderate hype. Light-skinned nigga started going off and going crazy with the crowd, popping his shit like, nah, nigga, this my fucking house. I built this shit, nigga, as the first brick by brick. It's always like the nigga Steph said he had to go light-skinned Franklin on this man, light-skinned Leon. But yeah, it's like he had to go. He had to go Franklin on him. And his man, he had to go Franklin on him and his man Leon for a quick minute. Like, nigga, I'm the first brick that built this house, and we built this shit brick by brick. But you know who numero uno is, nigga. You know who number 1 is. Like, nigga, I'm still here. This my fucking house, and I'm staying. I'm still here. Good night. And that shit was just crazy to see. Steph really going off like that with the crowd, ripping his jersey, flowing his jersey and shit. And it's like, damn, I ain't never really like you see him maybe a couple times. And like I said, moderate hype. Like, he'll get hype, but it's like, that shit look like he was coming out of his body. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, okay, he read. And that was a statement. That was a statement to, a statement of who and shit. Like, no beef shit. It's just competitive shit. And I love to see that. That's what the NBA needs back. You need that I wouldn't say like beef, like real beef, but like that competitive energy, that competitive, like on the court competitive, energy where it's kind of like beef, but that once the whistle blows and it's over, when the clock strikes 0, it's like, yo, we just competing out there, my nigga. But I had to let you know, nigga, like, I'll give you buckets and let you know this is my fucking house. And you like to see that between athletes where they have a respect for each other, they have love for each other. It's probably a friendship off the court. But it's like, yo, I'll bust your ass. That's why a lot of older fans, or there's some people that do romanticize the years of like Jordan, Magic, and Bird, and niggas like that and shit, and Kobe and AI and shit, because you see in the Jordan documentaries and some other basketball documentaries, if you watch those Back in the day, they was all still friends off the court, but them niggas was talking to each other like dogs, like they hated each other, cause they're like, I'm about to bust your ass. We about to fucking compete out here, and it's gonna look like beef out here. It's gonna look like beef out here. It's gonna look so much like beef out here that we might get lost in the shit and might actually have beef off the court, like fucking Isaiah and Magic type shit. You know what I mean? But it's just fun to see. It's good to see niggas making their statements to each other. Like, Klay came out doing his shit, like, yeah, nigga, I'm gonna let you know I'm coming with I'm shooting this time. I know I wasn't shooting like that last year, but nah, I'm coming through shooting. I got the clip tonight. Come on now, what's up? And that Steph coming back and like, nigga, I'll end this shit. You know, nigga, you was always doing anything, but you know who set this shit off and end this shit. And that's what he said tonight, so it was cool. But now, all bullshit and jokes aside, it was like I said, it was fun to see. But I also still think it was a little wild and a little weird to see Steph without Klay, Klay without Steph, Klay on the fucking Mavs, like on the Mavs. I get it, you want to compete for a ring. I understand it, and not saying in a way where the Mavs aren't legit to compete for a ring, because obviously they're in the championship last year and they got a good roster, good coach, good players around. But it's going to be interesting to see the rest of the season. It's going to be really fucking entertaining, because now one of the also secret low-key questions, is going to be later on is who can make it the furthest with their team and new rosters, or make it to at least a championship finals, make it to a finals without the other. So just give that shit some time to simmer a little bit low-key underneath the surface. So we'll see. Got a great sports entertainment, weekend and week coming up. So shit should be fucking crazy, you know what I mean? In football and basketball and college football, and who knows what other news is coming out with some other shit that I may tap into, some reports and everything like that. But for now, I'm going to wrap this one up for Volume 7, EP 7 of Welcome to the Franchize. It's the Franchize guy doing this shit like I do it for TV. But y'all have a good one out there, and y'all be easy.